and coaches. Do you wish you had a safe social media platform for your youth athletes? Fortunately for you, there's a revolutionary new app that helps with just that. Introducing Small Player, Big Play. Small Player, Big Play app provides young athletes, parents, and coaches a user-friendly sports social media platform. The app allows users to connect with friends, make new friends, create groups, text, chat, and post pictures and videos of you and your teammates participating in your favorite sport or activity. To begin, users can simply download and sign up for the app using an email account. Younger users have the ability to sign up using their smartphone and a parent's email address. From there, users can begin to interact and engage with other users of the app. Small Player Big Play app also gives users the ability to live stream full games and events. You can live stream your event so that friends, family, or anyone in the world can see you in action. Users can also share posts from the app to their other social media accounts like Facebook and Twitter. What are you waiting for? Get in the game and share your love of sports with the world. Download the Small Player Big Play app today.
Are you ready to listen to my dad Joe and Uncle Justin talk about sports? Now on with the show!
The Joe Mays and J-Raff Show is brought to you by Mays Sandwich Shop, which have been serving the greater West Lawn area delicious food for over 70 years. You are listening to the Joe Mays and J-Raff Show.
Boring.
A weekly podcast about sports since 2011.
Don't you ever get tired of being wrong all the time?
With a focus on football.
Sue, late in his career, is going to have his first Super Bowl title. Now, no wonder they want to call it Tampa Bay. Or Tampa Brady. One more snap, would you have guessed when this impossible season was trying to launch that you'd get it all in, you'd get to Tampa, and when the Super Bowl ended, the ball would be in the hands of Tom Brady.
I don't know why we ever think it won't.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a second Super Bowl title in franchise history.
And Tom Brady doesn't pass the torch quite yet to Mahomes, does he?
No.
Even though
you're looking at the greatest right there.
Now, here are your hosts, Joe Mays and Justin Raffauf. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Joe Mays and J-Raff Show. Here we are for episode 333 that sees Justin and I attempting to become bowl eligible in our NCAA 14 Dynasty mode as we co-coach the Florida Atlantic Owls. And we got 2 games tonight, Justin, and, we need to win. These are must-wins.
We do, yeah.
They've kind of been that way for the last couple weeks.
Yeah, we dug ourselves a bit of a hole in the first third of the season, so,
hey,
been working on it.
Like you said before the show started, once we got into league play, things changed completely. Like, we all of a sudden became mediocre, but that was good enough.
Oh, mediocre was a big step in the right direction.
It was a big step in the right direction. So tonight we're going to play 2 games. We're gonna keep the status quo as we talked about, Justin and I, beforehand, because it's been working.
Yeah,
I think over the last 2 weeks we're 3-1.
Yeah.
And that one loss was a close loss. So
right.
Justin's going to be defense. I'm going to be offense. We are hosting Southern Miss to start, and with the way things worked out, I'm going to be on offense first. So while we play the game this evening, we are going to continue to talk about the NFL draft. And, I have a mock draft up, and Justin's going to run through that while I start our offensive play.
All right. So I know there's been a lot of talk about the draft. Obviously, there will be even more this week as we lead into it. However, most people feel like there is little to no drama at the top of the draft, and that's this mock we have pulled up here would kind of go with that, especially through the first 2. Like, that's when I say no no drama at the top. That's kind of where we're starting out, those first two. With the Jaguars taking Trevor Lawrence, and then the Jets taking Zach Wilson. Which, an interesting point that someone brought up was they were, like, talking about before, and they talked about Zach Wilson and some of the other guys. But, you know, sometimes you'll hear, well, if a team wants a quarterback, they should trade up and get one this year because there aren't any big name quarterbacks coming out next year.
Yeah,
Well,
that's kind of the word.
But this was interesting because somebody said, yeah, well, 2 years ago, like, the kid who went to Cincinnati,
Burrow.
Joe Burrows wasn't even projected in the first 3 rounds before the season, and they listed a number of examples over the last 3 or 4 years where the guy wasn't even projected maybe in the first 2 days of the draft, and then based on the one season went in the first round or second round or something like that. And so he's like, he's like, I'm not saying that there are the huge names that there are in this draft, but he's like, don't just go on the idea that, oh, you know, there's no one and we're going to have to, you know, like, that there's no way that we can, like, get a quarterback next year. Let's get this first down.
I'm going to take a timeout.
Go ahead.
I'm just letting the clock run now. I don't want to run a read, not against that formation.
That's fine.
I didn't have the time to audible out of it. But, yeah, it is. It's so funny because, remember 2 years ago, everyone was talking about how Tua, tank for Tua, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And then he falls to 5 because of things like Burrow. Herbert ends up going 6. But now, after 1 year, everyone thinks Tua is terrible, which, like, come on. Like, you got to give these guys time.
In 2 years, he went from the unanimous number 1 to a bust when he wasn't even a bust. Like, it's kind of crazy. This is, we'll go through some more of this, but then remind me to bring up the idea of the like rookie like pay scale thing, because somebody brought up a really interesting point about that. This one is really interesting because they have it going with number 3, the Niners, and you probably saw this, but I think the Niners are going to, well, I don't know where they're going to go, but I feel like they have to have a good idea of where they want to go, or else they wouldn't have given up what they did to get up to number 3.
Right.
Unless they just were like, look, we haven't decided yet.
We'll take any of them.
But we're comfortable with any of them. We need to finalize our pick, and we want to be able to get who we want of those 3. That's a fair set. That's a fair thing to do in my mind.
Yeah.
I think they're in a great spot because they don't have to get rid of Garoppolo yet. This mock draft has them taking Justin Fields, and I think that would be really interesting. Kyle Shanahan has worked magic with a number of quarterbacks, including Jimmy Garoppolo. They were one overthrow away maybe from a Super Bowl win 2 years ago.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Like, last time we talked about the over-under on wins, and, like, people are very high on San Francisco.
Right. Nice.
But I thought they overachieved when they went to the Super Bowl, and I thought they came back to earth last year. Now, they were hampered by injuries, so they're probably not as bad as they were, but I don't think they're a 10-win team. I don't.
And it's interesting because, like, I don't know what to think of Garoppolo, but, like, yeah, I don't know. But they have Justin Fields going there. I think Trey Lance is a really interesting one, especially because they still have Garoppolo there. So, like, he's not going to be forced to play right away.
Right. I think you can make a case for all 3, and that's why it makes the 3rd pick so interesting.
And this was another interesting point somebody made. Everybody's like, oh, Mac Jones isn't the athlete that everyone else is. Which is, okay, he's probably not quite as athletic as Justin Fields. I'll give you that.
Yeah, or Trey Lance.
However, yeah, correct. However, they're like, just because he doesn't look the part doesn't mean he isn't.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's seen the picture of Tom Brady from 2000, right?
And, yeah, get him in an NFL weight. Not now. Alabama's as close to the NFL weight thing as he's going to need, you know. But, you know, he's a college kid, so there's room for growth there. Like, it's not like you're the Alabama quarterback. I'm not going to go as far as to say you're not athletic. And I like people. There are people who are like, all right, well, the jury's still out on Tua, but like, Alabama hasn't produced NFL quality quarterbacks since like whatever. And I'm like, okay, let's do the same for Ohio State.
Right.
All their guys flame out really early, right? Like that's unfair. But at the same time, like if you're going to do that.
Oh, God, that was bad.
We'll take the interception now. All right, so then it goes to Kyle Pitts at 4 to Atlanta, which is a really interesting one because Atlanta, that would be a really interesting weapon for them. I know we're nice pickup. We're kind of split, and you took up the whole first quarter.
Yeah, I did.
That's awesome.
And this is why our offense is ranked at the...
Hey. That's a great quarter. Ball control, baby. Kyle Pitts could end up being like the biggest player in the draft. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, everyone thinks he's the
right.
safest at the top.
Right. But there's a lot going on there. I'm not sold that Atlanta doesn't trade out of that spot.
If someone else wants to come up for a quarterback.
And this is one of those things, too. There's talk like, well, do they take a quarterback that they groom for the future? And maybe. But their cap hit on Matt Ryan next year, I believe. Not this year. I think it's next year's cap hit is $40 million.
Well, they got to restructure.
Right. So, like, they can't. Like, unlike the Niners, who... Yes, Garoppolo has some money, like he has years left and stuff there, but they're not hampered by that nearly as much, I don't think, as what the Falcons are right now. Oh, man. All right, so they have Pitts.
What do you want me to do?
That's your call.
I'm on the one.
You're the offense.
Man. I don't like any of this.
Here we go. Nice. 2 for 2 on 4th down conversions that drive.
Yeah, one was on the first part of the drive on our territory.
Took a quarter and a half off the clock.
This is totally how I would coach if I were a head coach, too.
All right, so here we go. Bengals. They have them taking Jamar Chase.
Of course they do. So they take Pitts and Chase at 4 and 5.
Yeah.
That would be my nightmare scenario. So so this guy hasn't taken Devontae. Okay. So I do want to mention this is all from the Draft Network. I like drafttech.com and the draftnetwork.com are my two go-tos for NFL draft information. So we're using the Draft Network here on this one, but they're both great resources. I love using them, and yeah, it's good stuff. So Justin went through the first one: Jaguars, Lawrence, Jets, Wilson, 49ers, Fields, and we talked about how that could really go any direction right now. This writer here, I'm not sure who's this is. Oh, Ryan Fowler has it being Fields. Then Justin said Falcons take Pitts, Bengals go Chase, Dolphins go Devontae Smith at 6. If this is the scenario that plays out for Miami, I want Miami to try to trade back down. I know they're probably not going to get what they gave to Philadelphia to move up, unless someone's really desperate, but the board just didn't fall the way that they wanted it to. I don't think they value Smith that high, like up at 6. If they can get him down at 8, 9, 8 to 12, I think you're okay with that. But if they can't find a trading partner, I probably think that's the way they go.
You want to do the punt return?
Jeez, that was fast.
3 and out, baby. They got 7 yards on first down, and then it ended up being 4th and 3. So we'll take that. Yeah, I mean, if you're the Dolphins and Pitts and Chase going 4-5 is not what you want to happen. In my mind.
That was a terrible return.
All right, so then they have the Lions
taking Waddle.
Which, okay, so if you had to rank those four, Pitts, Chase, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. What order are you putting them in for the Dolphins? I'll put it in context. For the Dolphins, what order would you want them in?
Chase, Pitts, Smith, Waddle.
Okay, so you want Waddle last. See, I'm high on Waddle.
But
No. I
like,
understand.
I don't
it's
like.
all relative. You're not like saying you don't want him. It's just, but like, so I'm hopeful, and this obviously doesn't have that happening. I'm hopeful that Waddle or Smith, one of them gets passed up on.
What the heck?
And I don't know, like who. Like I feel like there's a better chance of Smith getting passed up because he weighed in at 166. Which, look, again, an NFL team will probably have him up to 175 in no time.
Oh no. No, it's not gonna work. Well, that was really crap.
But it's even better when he can bring it in for an interception.
That was awful. That was the exact opposite of how the first drive went. So, yeah. So Dolphins go Smith, Lions go Waddle, Panthers go Sewell. I don't see Sewell falling outside of the top 10, but I think there are some people that actually might like Slater as much or more.
No, yeah.
That I could see. I kind of like what they have here. They have Sewell going 8, Slater going 9. Where do they have Darisaw going? So Darisaw at 13. So you get no tackles in the first 7 picks, and then you get 3 and 6 picks. So it would be interesting to see. Do the Panthers, if one of the quarterbacks they wanted to see if he's available, do the Panthers trade up even after getting Darnold? I've heard people throw that around.
Right. Yeah, which is interesting. I know they came out and said they're not going to make a decision on his 5th-year extension until after the draft, which they don't have to. They said normal timeline is early May for those decisions. So it's not that odd. But
Broncos get Slater. With the quarterback still available, I guess I'm a little bit surprised they don't have the Broncos taking Lance, or Mac Jones. But offensive line's a need as well. Cowboys, I feel like I've only seen cornerbacks sent to Dallas. And they get Patrick Surtain here, who I think is the best one available, and he gets to play with Trevon Diggs, who they took last year in the 2nd round, Dallas did. So I think that's pretty slam dunk. What do you feel about this? Parsons to the Giants, just 3 years after Barkley to the Giants.
Gosh. Yeah, it'll probably happen.
Well, now we're getting into your pick after we go. So Dallas, Giants, Eagles are 3 picks in a row, and the Eagles get to go the last part of that. So they get to see maybe 2 players they wanted leave to division rivals.
Right, which is part of the idea of why did they trade back as well. I understand. I'm not upset about them trading back necessarily, but it is frustrating to see 2 rivals go right ahead of you. This has them taking Horn, J.C. Horn out of South Carolina. I wouldn't be terribly
He's an aggressive corner.
Right, and in the way this has played out, with both Alabama wide receivers, Pitts and Chase all being gone, and Parsons being gone, I'd be perfectly fine with this. If it plays out this way, that's who I honestly would probably want them to take at this point. So I'd be all right with that. If it shakes out this way, getting Horn there, someone, and it's going to be someone that's probably going to need to play right away. That's fine.
Stop throwing it his back shoulder.
The Chargers, Darisaw going there, another tackle, protecting Herbert, who they found for the future. At 14, they have the Vikings taking the linebacker Vera Tucker out of USC.
The offensive lineman.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I read the thing wrong. And it says they're still surprised. Like, they don't have Trey Lance or Mac Jones still off the board here, but Kirk Cousins they have too much money in him to not, like, protect him. Here you go. 15.
Yeah,
Who do you
great.
think they have the Patriots taking?
Come on, catch the ball, Trey Lance.
They do have him taking Trey Lance. That is a scary situation, in my opinion. Not because there's any guarantees, but just oof.
I don't like
Have a potential high first round talent go
Right.
there to Belichick, and
again.
it could be tough. The Cardinals getting Caleb Farley out of Virginia Tech.
And he was thought as a possible top 10, 12 pick before he had medical recheck and another surgery.
Right, because a lot of people thought. So he sat out this past year. But yeah, a lot of people, before some of the medical stuff, have him, like, some people have him higher than, like, Surtain. Nice pass. It's awesome when they don't underthrow by 10 yards.
Right?
They had him up there with Surtain and, some of the other, like, in Horn. Like, they had him, like, almost, like, 3 ways. But with that stuff, that has kind of lingered there. You hope he's good to go and everything like that. But
Oh my! Come on!
they have the Raiders.
Oh!
Did you get it? Oh my gosh!
The quarterback has made some really careless throws.
I don't have any timeouts though.
Yeah, but it might stop because it was a change of possession twice.
What? Well, do I attempt at one pass?
Oh heck yeah! They have the Raiders taking offensive tackle Tevin Jenkins. They said he fits the Gruden mold perfectly.
Oh, he dropped it!
Oh my gosh! Do it again.
It only
Take
took
another
4.
shot.
It only took 4 seconds.
Right, exactly.
I can't believe he dropped it. I mean, I can't believe it. We're terrible.
And then they have the Dolphins' second pick.
Is it Najee Harris?
No.
Is it a defensive or a rusher?
Yeah, interior defensive lineman. That's all right. It was short. He'd probably better off being incomplete. I'd kick it.
Yeah, I'll kick it.
This defense
Um,
wants to do. Get some pressure on the quarterback and force
They have
him
him
to
taking
throw
Christian
the ball
Barmore out of
coverage.
Alabama.
Really?
It says his stock has continued to rise following an outstanding last 2 months of his redshirt sophomore season.
A defensive lineman?
Miami's 3-4 front, Barmore's presence anchoring Raekwon Davis and Christian Wilkins jolts Brian Flores' unit into the top defense.
I mean,
in the
they're not
AFC.
wrong, but
Right, but at 18, yeah. They have Washington at 19 taking the linebacker out of Notre Dame, Owasu Kuroma.
They'll bring him down at the 48-yard line.
Man, they're add him to chase Young. Like, just they got a lot of talent on that defense still.
well, that was a weird play, a series of plays right there.
Yes.
All right, Reese, David, thanks, guys. Just about set to start the third quarter. Sends it sailing
So,
downfield.
where are we at here? So we left off. You had with the Washington football team taking the Notre Dame linebacker. So the Bears get Mac Jones. So they have Mac Jones all the way at 20.
Wow.
For a while, Mac Jones was seen as the number 3,
Right.
3rd overall pick. Here they have him going all the way at 20. And they say he doesn't need to start this year, obviously. Could he pay the edge rusher from Michigan to the Colts? The Colts are also in need of a tackle since Costanzo retired.
Midfield. Inside the 30.
But they're not able to get one here. Fowler has Rashad Bateman going in the first round. He had an electric 2019, but did not play well or enough in 2020. But they have the Titans taking him here. So they did lose Corey Davis, but A.J. Brown looked like a superstar last year. So perhaps if Bateman doesn't have to shoulder the load and Tannehill can continue his stellar play from the last 2 years, Bateman could make some noise there. Another cornerback in the first round, this one to the Jets, Greg Newsome from Northwestern. Then Najee Harris goes to the Steelers at 24. This is why I asked you if he had Miami taking Harris, because Harris I don't think is making it out of the first. And Etienne could also make it in the first, so Miami would be in the same position they were last year. where they may not get a day 1 or day 2 running back, and they attempted to offset that with trades and free agency last year, and it just didn't work out with Breida and Howard. I would like to see Miami take a back with one of their first 4 picks that they have right now. Obviously, they're not taking someone at 6, but at 18, it's definitely a possibility. Because I don't know that I see anyone taking Harris before the Steelers at 24. But they get him here since Miami went with Barmore. Jaguars get one of my favorite guys, another Bama guy, Landon Dickerson, the interior offensive line. He can play center or guard. Browns get Elijah Moore, the receiver from Ole Miss. Ravens, edge rusher Joe Tryon. Saints, Jamin Davis, linebacker from Kentucky. Packers, Alex Leatherwood. Bills, Jalen Phillips, the rusher from the University of Miami. Ravens, Samuel Cosme, who can now help offset the loss of the Orlando Brown, who they traded to the Chiefs. And the Chiefs are just another example of why the Chiefs are so good. They knew they had offensive line issues. They may have 5 different starters on the offensive line next year versus what they had this year. Now, 1 or 2 of them are returning after opting out, including Levant Tard,
including a doctor.
Including a doctor who the NFL won't allow to put MD on the back.
Yeah, how ridiculous
But
is that?
junior and the third is okay, but MD is not. But
yeah, I feel like that's a perfect example of one of those where, like, if you got it, that, like, the NFL should be promoting that like crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Oh my gosh.
And the Buccaneers get Rondale Moore, a wide receiver from Purdue, who had an amazing freshman year, but hasn't stayed healthy the last 2 years.
Imagine adding him to the Bucs.
Yeah, to the Bucs, right?
Gosh.
And that's on top of everything else they already had. So let's take a look at Ben Solak's. He's another guy at the Draft Network and see where he's at.
Oh, it's field goal, yeah. So.
Okay. Obviously, Jaguars are taking Trevor Lance. Jets taking Zach Williams. He has the 49ers taking Trey Lance.
Oh, okay. So different one here.
So, yeah, this is a different...
Yeah, so Trey Lance going number 3 to the Niners. I think that's the one I'm still on. We'll see, but, like... And that's going to be a wait-and-see one, but I feel like they've got time to wait and see there. Maybe not, because, like, if you feel like your defense is still good, maybe you should strike while the iron's hot there, you know what I mean? But I don't know. And so here you go. Like, everybody talks, won't have to play right away. Yeah, but if you and I are, like we said, aren't quite sold on the Niners, well, what do you do if you're mediocre? Do you keep going with your quarterback? You know what I mean? Do you still play Jimmy Garoppolo? You know what I mean? If you're not.
Well, if they're taking Lance, I assume they're playing Garoppolo because I don't think Lance is ready.
But that's the thing. Like, but if you see you're going to be a 9-8 team, are you like?
Oh God, I hate that so much.
I know. Are you still going to be playing? Like, are you not going to play Lance at the end of the season? You know, like I don't know. Well, and who knows if Garoppolo...
Hold your blocks!
Who knows if Garoppolo can stay on the field? You know what I mean? Like, that's another big piece. Again, they have the Falcons taking Kyle Pitts.
No, I don't want any of that.
And number 5, they have them going Jamar Chase to the Bengals. Again.
All right, who do they have the Dolphins taking?
They have them taking Waddle.
Waddle. Whatever. Like, honestly...
Okay, right. That would be fine. Like, here's the thing. Waddle was the wide receiver that was going to win the Heisman through the first third of the season.
Right, and then he got hurt in October.
Right.
And
so here we go. After that, though, big-time trade into number 7 with the Detroit Lions. The Patriots trade up and take Justin Fields.
Oh, God, no, I don't want that.
Yeah, I don't want that either. Have the Panthers taking Sewell.
No! Come on!
They have the Panthers taking Sewell.
Freaking receiver would block.
And then they've got, let's see, the Broncos getting Mac Jones at 9. I don't know that. I know John Elway has transitioned into a slightly different role, but he's still calling the shots. That's not good.
That was terrible.
Cowboys taking Surtain. I didn't get to see the Eagles pick there. All right.
Eagles take Horn.
Again.
Yep.
All right.
Again.
Again, in that scenario, I'm okay with that.
Are you okay with them taking Horn over
Parsons?
who drops all the way to 17?
Yes.
Anderson gets it on the inside.
I mean, it would be
7 yards there on that bit of misdirection.
it would be interesting for him to go to Penn State, the team that I root for Penn State player to go to the Eagles, but like I feel like that would just be he'd be destined to not be very good then.
Yeah.
He's taken down at the 49.
But and the Eagles need secondary help so bad. I mean, they need help everywhere.
So after that, the Chargers again get offensive line help with Rashawn Slater. Vikings get offensive line help with Vera Tucker from USC. The Lions trading back with the Patriots ended up with Devontae Smith there, so they were possibly thinking wide receiver early. They got him later after picking up some picks too. Farley goes to the Cardinals. Parsons to the Raiders. Dolphins get Jalen Phillips, the edge rusher out of the University of Miami at 18. One of my personal favorites, the linebacker from Tulsa, Zavin Collins, goes to Washington at 19. We see back-to-back offensive tackles, Darisaw to the Bears, and here's a new one that I kind of mentioned in the last one, that the Colts need an offensive tackle to replace Costanzo. They go with Tevin Jenkins from Oklahoma State at 21. Rashad Bateman to the Titans, again focusing on wide receiver for Tennessee. Pay from Michigan to the Jets at 23. And once again, Najee Harris to the Steelers at 24. Owusu Koroma to the Jaguars at 25. Barmore lands with the Browns at 26. Tryon, the edge rusher, to Baltimore. Greg Newsome, the cornerback, to the Saints. Linebacker Davis to the Packers. And here's Etienne, the running back, to the Bills. Before Morig, the safety from TSU, goes to Baltimore. And Carlos Basham, the edge rusher from Wake Forest, lands with Tampa Bay. So did any of theirs stand out to you?
Who would they have gone to Buffalo again?
Travis Etienne.
Oh, okay. Filer would love that.
Yeah, right. Clemson Buffalo connection. Although the last time they took a Clemson running back, it didn't really work out real well. But so why don't we run our own mock here and see what the computer throws at us a couple times, and we'll just do. Let's just do 2 rounds. After that, it gets kind of crazy. We'll do Dolphins and Eagles, and we'll see what happens. I'll get the draft started. So, no surprise, Lawrence goes first, Wilson second, Lance goes third, Pitts goes fourth. I'm being offered a trade from the Panthers. They want me to drop 2 spots to pick up a 3rd round pick. Wow, so this one has the Bengals taking Waddle at 5 over Chase, so I'm clearly taking Jamar Chase. So, Justin, for your Eagles,
They just broke like 4 tackles.
Justin, for your Eagles,
Okay.
top available are Mac Jones, J.C. Horn, Micah Parsons, Christian Darrisaw, Caleb Farley, Tevin Jenkins, Jalen Phillips, Zavin Collins, Christian Barmore.
Take Horn.
Take Horn.
Yep.
So pretty standard for us right there.
We're in trouble here, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I see that. How much time is left? Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I got to figure out how to throw the ball.
Alright.
Or I need to return this.
So you were offered a trade.
I don't do any trades. It's just
Okay, so
adds a lot.
decline.
Tries to get around the corner.
Oh!
The 36-yard line. The Golden Eagles have
Okay, so where are we here? Your pick.
Who's on the board?
Christian Darrisaw, Tevin Jenkins, Jalen Phillips on the edge, Christian Barmore, Owusu Koroma, Kwity Paye, Aziz Ojulari, Najee Harris, Joe Tryon, Rashad Bateman, Greg Newsome.
You know, give me Harris.
He's hit and taken down.
So this goes through. It has the Bills getting Elijah Moore.
Nope.
Tries to stay in there, and it'll be intercepted. Another interception by the defense, and their sideline is really
So,
fired up.
well,
They didn't
Miami's
want
back
their
up.
quarterback to be able to beat them through the air. And with 3 interceptions, I would say they are winning that battle right now.
Well, this sucks.
Well, we need to make something happen here.
I'm going Landon Dickerson. I mean, as much as I'd like to take Jason away,
Ball on the 14.
if it breaks this way, I'm taking Dickerson.
From that line of scrimmage.
Hey, Eagles are right after Miami.
And down he goes.
I'm going to
Owe,
timeout.
Stokes, Cosme, Terrace Marshall. You want Terrace Marshall? Or Rondale Moore? Or do you want to hear other positions?
So run through who are my options here.
Jason Owe, Eric Stokes, cornerback, Samuel Cosme, offensive tackle, Terrace Marshall, wide receiver, Liam Eichenberg,
Take
offensive
Marshall.
tackle. Did you say,
Yeah,
who did you say?
Marshall.
Terrace Marshall?
The Owls call a timeout. That's their second of the half. The quarterback
I'm using the timeouts here because we need the 2 possessions. So like,
third down.
No, yeah, that's
you know what I
fine.
mean? Like we need as much time.
The first down.
Nope, don't need to trade offer. I'm up to pick.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
It's a nice run here by the offense to be able to pick up this.
I'm going to
first
go
down.
Gregory Rousseau to get Miami an edge rusher here.
And that's a nice
I'm
conversion
not
on third
sure we have any more picks, so I want to see the haul that we got
Just under 2 minutes in the game.
in our first 2 rounds. So this is so incredibly disappointing.
Pick up on the option.
All right, so with the 4 picks, again, no trades, 4 picks, I got Chase,
Second down.
Najee Harris, Landon Dickerson, and Gregory Rousseau with my 4 picks, and you got J.C. Horn and Terrace Marshall with your 2 picks. I think we'd both be pretty happy if that's the way the draft broke on Thursday night.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
we will be broadcasting live Thursday evening. We're hoping to play 2 games Thursday night, but I don't think that's going to be happening now. As this loss here, I think, doesn't allow us to become bowl eligible. So what started out as promising little winning streak here, and actually not too bad start to the game, things unraveled quickly.
I feel like the games where we've started out real strong.
We've crapped the bed the rest of the way. Well, I can't let them get me off my game. With the talent we have at quarterback and receiver, they drop too many passes, and the quarterback can't throw the ball where
That
I'm
pass
telling him
before
to throw the
halftime,
ball.
where they just dropped it in the end zone.
Yeah,
That's frustrating.
a lot of this is frustrating.
Well, yes, a lot of this is frustrating.
A lot of this is frustrating. So that's a little quick simulation of the way how things could go. Let's pull up Draft Tech and see how they have things going. Obviously, Lawrence is going to go 1, Wilson's going to go 2. So let's see where they have the 49ers going. I guess. Well, no, I already did the recruiting.
Okay,
So
I wasn't sure what.
Oh, so that is so very disappointing.
Yeah. So, let's see. So that puts us at 4 and 6, but we only have the 1 game left, right?
Yeah, and is there a conference championship that we were aiming to play in?
I don't know if they have a game or not, though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Well, we have a game against Old Dominion in week 13.
Right.
And then week 14 is FIU, right?
Yeah. So we could get the 6 wins.
Oh yeah, we could.
We just need to win them both, and FIU is really good, aren't they?
Yeah, FIU's like 10-1 or something like that.
That's a problem for future Joey and Justin.
That's a problem for next week's Joey and
Right.
Justin. Or actually not next week. That's a problem for 5 days from now.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so we have to win against Old Dominion. If we lose to Old Dominion, it doesn't matter at all.
Right.
Oh, I thought we had some momentum on our side.
I know. Well, and like the thing is, like we had a closer game with Auburn than we did with Florida Atlantic, and that's how Florida came. Oof. Like
Yeah, we got housed by South Florida. But like Southern, that's so frustrating.
right,
Hey, we got 2 commits somehow. I mean, they're probably no good, but
whatever. They will fit right in.
no, yeah. Or blend right in with the rest
Right.
of the team.
Okay, so on this one, they have the Niners taking Fields at 3. So I think the consensus is nobody has any clue what John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are going to do with their pick, other than go quarterback.
They really don't.
What if they went Sewell? Like, what if they traded up?
What if they take one of the
Sewell?
receivers?
Oh my gosh, they take Jamar Chase, like,
Or Pitts?
or Pitts, yeah.
To go with Kittle?
Well, that's what. Oh my gosh, that would be insane. But here they have the Jaguars trading up to 4 to get.
My dad just texted me, turn out the lights, the party's over. Thanks for your support.
So they have the Jags trading the 25, 33, and 65, their picks, to the Falcons in exchange for the number 4.
Holy. So Jacksonville's jumping up from like the 20s.
Right, from 25.
Because that's the pick that they got from Los Angeles, right?
Yeah,
The Rams.
yeah. So
Look at defense. 22nd in points. First in yards, first in pass, first in rush. Offense. 119, 126, 120, 126.
So
Oh, we're on the road.
man, but can you imagine if Jacksonville had 2 picks in the top 4?
Well, they've screwed it up in the past,
Right.
so.
And then they have Cincinnati taking Kyle Pitts. I'm so surprised that all these plays. Like I get, like in the other ones, it made a little bit more sense because. Well, no, it didn't. That's what I'm gonna say. I guess in this one, it makes a little more sense for them to not take. Because Sewell's gone in this one, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
But they had a franchise quarterback that they couldn't keep healthy because he was running for his life all year. Giving him another weapon doesn't help him
Wait.
stay
Are you
off his
talking
back.
about?
Cincinnati, sorry.
I know, but are you talking about Joe Burrow, Andy
Yeah.
Dalton, or Carson Palmer?
Yes. Yes. Oh gosh.
So yeah, I know. I like as salivating as it should be. As salivated as it should be to pair Chase with Burrow.
Yeah. And you know Burrow's probably lobbying for that.
You would think, but like also he probably doesn't want to get hit either.
Right.
He's also coming off a torn ACL. It's not as flashy or sexy to take Chase or Pitts, but I do think they should be taking Sewell if he's available. Now he's not here.
Right, in this one he's not, but in the other 2 that we've gone through, he
But
has been available.
I feel like if he's not available, why would you not take Chase? You know what I
No,
mean?
you're right.
So, like, I know everyone seems to think Pitts is this, like, generational talent and, like, is Vernon Davis from, 16 years ago or whatever, but even better.
It's
And, like, we
frustrating.
can see
It's
what Kelsey
frustrating,
and
by the
Kittle
way.
do, but
Real quick, it's frustrating that I had that side linebacker spying and
he didn't make the
was
play.
nowhere to be found.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I moved a guy out of in the wrong direction too. But
Yeah, so I'm just surprised to see Kyle Pitts there as well. I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, we're surprised every year. Every year, I'm convinced that I know exactly what's going to happen because I've seen all the mock drafts, and every year the NFL teams throw wrenches in those. But I mean, Miami gets Chase here, and I'm very excited for that.
oh man, yeah, there you go.
That's what I want to happen. And we get receivers now 3 in a row. Tight end, wide receiver. Devontae Smith goes to Detroit.
By the way,
at
like I
7.
ran into the guy and he didn't tackle him. Wonderful.
Rashawn Slater to Carolina. So they're going to protect Sam Darnold. What a novel creation. I points to Draft Tech for incorporating Ghostbusters into this pick analysis. Because Sam Darnold talked about seeing ghosts a few years ago. So they're talking about drafting some Ghostbusters. So I enjoy that. Very, very good Draft Tech. Denver goes Parsons in this one. Oh, God, you're playing an option team?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Denver is another one of those. I just don't know what to think. Is Lynch, or not Lynch, is Elway ready to figure out that he can play quarterback unlike many people, but he doesn't know how to find the raw quarterbacks?
Right.
Or is he going to keep going back to that well and hoping like fourth time's a charm?
Just keep drafting the tallest quarterback available.
But they go Parsons here. So Parsons and Hamler out in Denver. Deshaun too, although I heard Deshaun could be on the block because they don't really have enough spots for him,
Right.
and teams have been inquiring. So we could see Deshaun get flipped for a 6th-round pick when the draft comes up Thursday night. Well, probably Friday or Saturday.
I'd take him for a 6th-round pick.
Here's another trade. Patriots moving up with the Cowboys to get Mac Jones this time. That also terrifies me because he's the most NFL ready of the of the three left.
Yes.
The three remaining quarterbacks not named Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. So that one, I don't like that either. Waddle goes to the Giants at 11, but Surtain gets to go to the Eagles at 12. So
I'd be thrilled with that. See, the problem here is, and again, they've shocked me a little bit the last couple of years, but I just can't believe that the Cowboys would pass up on Patrick Surtain because of the name. Like, Jerry loves like making that splash. You know what I mean? Like, but I'd be thrilled with that. You know, they have it as a value of +4, which at 12 isn't too bad. You know what I mean? Like, that's a pretty good. I'll take that.
I in my dream scenario is, well, no, it would require Pitts to be available. But I told you, I was like, maybe the Cowboys love Pitts so much that Jerry wants to move up from 10 to 6. But that would require, well, I guess that means Chase goes at 5.
Right.
But who goes at 4? Maybe Sewell, but
Yeah.
or maybe Chase. Well, they're not going to take Chase. I don't even know if it could even happen. But that's like my dream scenario is the Cowboys selling the farm, Miami dropping to 10, still getting Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle,
Right.
and then picking up a whole bunch of stuff from the Cowboys.
Right. So they have the Bears trading up to 13 and getting Trey Lance.
Okay. Wait, Justin Fields wasn't taken yet.
I don't believe so. No.
So, wow, okay.
So then they've got Minnesota taking Alex Leatherwood. Great tackle name. The Cowboys at 15 taking J.C. Horn. Which I have to say I don't like. If I just talked about 3 mocks in a row where the Eagles get Horn and I'm excited, I don't want him to go to the Cowboys. Arizona taking Tyson Campbell out of Georgia.
Get up the field!
It has Vegas taking Trevon Moehrig out of TCU, a safety. I would put it as slim chance that the Raiders don't take an offensive pick.
What? Oh my God. This is
They
a
have
wonderful night.
They have Christian Darrisaw going to Miami at 18.
Okay. I'm not with them now.
Not a fan, huh? Not a fan.
Well, I think it's unnecessary with what's available.
Right.
And what they need. I know at times we talked about them taking.
Catch the ball.
We talked about them taking Sewell. Like we debated whether or not if Pitts and Chase are gone, do they stay at 6 and take Sewell? I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of that because I feel like they need more of interior help than exterior. They took Austin Jackson last year, to start at left tackle. They drafted Hunt. Now I know Hunt could slide inside from right tackle to guard, but they already have that kind of covered. But I mean, if they take Darrisaw, he mans right tackle and Hunt's available to work with Flowers and the other guard options. Center is what they need because they lost out on Andrews. He resigned with the Patriots. They didn't draft Tooney, who would have slotted at guard. Yes, go, go, go. Don't you love it when they turn the wrong way?
Yeah.
It's my favorite. So I don't know if I'm a fan of that with some of the other things some of the other people that were available. It's not a terrible pick.
Right.
I understand the thinking behind it. I guess I just wasn't.
I just don't agree with it.
I just wasn't planning on seeing them take a tackle, but
Right.
I mean, Darrisaw's a good player, so I
Right.
shouldn't be that upset about it, especially as a former offensive lineman.
It has Kansas City trading up to 19.
Wait, Kansas City trading up?
Yeah, from 31.
Well, they don't have that pick anymore.
Right.
So this is outdated. a
Okay.
bit.
In exchange, but it had him taking Jalen Phillips there. Has the Chargers trading with the Bears? Man, there's a lot of trades in this one. To get the tackle Vera Tucker. Has Indianapolis taking Texas tackle Samuel Cosme
Yep.
on an already solid offensive line.
Right.
Tennessee taking Rashad Bateman. Interesting pick
Well,
there.
we talked about wide
Yeah.
receiver to Tennessee a lot. So
The Jets trading and getting Wyatt Davis, guard out of Ohio State. Has Pittsburgh taking Travis Etienne. So it has everybody's on board with the Steelers taking first round running.
yeah, but I think they want someone like Harris, not like
No,
Etienne.
I
So I'm a little bit
wholeheartedly
surprised by
agree.
that.
Although I don't feel like Etienne's a terrible fit for them. I just
I thought they kind of wanted to get more 3-down bruising type
no.
guy.
I was gonna say Harris has Steelers written all over him, and I know like nice. It has the Falcons trading with the Jaguars to get the 25 and taking Pay from Michigan. Cleveland taking Gregory Rousseau,
yeah.
sorry, out of Miami.
It'll be interesting.
Another edge rusher there with Clowney too. That's
Wait, where was that to?
Cleveland
With Miles.
and Clowney.
Wow.
That would be interesting. I wonder if this happened before that because we already talked. This is
Yeah,
always
it
a
was.
little older.
Yeah, I'm feeling this. I mean, I think it has a date on it.
You know what?
but
It doesn't mention anything about
Clowney at all.
Clowney at all on here.
So yeah, they're probably due for an update. They'll have one.
they'll
they'll have
probably
at
do
least
a
one
few,
more.
yeah.
They'll probably have it. Actually, might even be tomorrow.
Has the Ravens?
Oh, you want to kick off?
Nice answer there, by the way.
Thank you. After looking awful in the last game outside of the first drive, hopefully I don't turn that in again. Richie Grant. Wow.
Oh, we got a touchback, baby.
Wow, nice.
I'll take it.
Richie Grant. All right, I'm not very familiar with Richie Grant. Asante Samuel making it into the first round here to the Saints. Wosu Kuroma, Notre Dame linebacker to Green Bay. Barmore, the Alabama defensive lineman to Buffalo. Tevin Jenkins with Washington trading back with the Chiefs, which again, that's outdated, but they get Tevin Jenkins there. And the pass rusher from Georgia, Ojulari, goes to Tampa Bay. Again, I feel like Tampa Bay can do no wrong. They're, like you've said multiple times, absolutely running it back by bringing everyone back, and now they've got a first-round pick that they're just going to be sitting there and can listen to people who want to trade up or just take the best player available. So it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing, but yeah.
This running back runs outstanding routes out of the backfield.
What
A little too out in front of
within reason,
From their own 36-yard
what
line.
would be your
Second down.
best case scenario for the Eagles?
Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle.
One of the Bama receivers now.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, mine is Chase.
I mean, I don't know that would happen. Like I said, I think, and don't get me wrong. Like, it's one of those. I don't think Devontae Smith should be discounted purely because of his size. Like, I understand it's the NFL, man.
Right.
I thought we had two guys pick that off.
They know to get their hands up in the air.
Oh, here we go.
Knock down passes.
Punt
Or
return.
just take the best player available.
So we still have all three timeouts too.
What they end up doing, but
Your favorite, the up-tempo offense. But so my ideally, honestly, I'd almost rather Waddle fall because I feel like Rager, not that Rager is Devontae Smith, but like, you know, the speedy like guy.
if you have the proper system, it doesn't it won't matter.
Right, and the thing is, like, I have no idea what the Eagles system's going to look like. You know what I mean? Like, so we'll have to wait and see. But
No. Oh my gosh.
His quarterback has got to do a better job of looking at defenders.
but I would love for Waddle to fall there.
Improvise and get free.
From their own 38-yard line.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's part of me that would be like, it's really cool if.
He dropped it again. They dropped two straight
It would
passes.
be really cool if Parsons went to the Eagles, but like I said, I just like draft night and stuff. Oh, right, that's great. Then I feel like the pressure's on, and like I don't know that they're good enough to
Right.
for that to really help them. I'm scared to death that Howie's going to screw this up, though. I'm really worried that Howie's going to screw it up.
What do you want me to do here? R45.
I don't know, man.
4th and 3.
How confident are you that we can get 3 yards?
So they're going to go for it here.
Confident enough, I
Can't
guess.
really agree with this call to go for it, but that's why I'm not coaching, folks.
Oh my gosh. Whew. Never a doubt. Never
Oh,
a
boy.
doubt.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I'd say Waddle falling.
Oh, shoot.
Waddle falling would be my ideal situation.
Never a doubt.
Which could happen because I mean it's an injured guy, so that would make perfect sense for the Eagles, right? Devontae Smith being there,
We
I
got
think
jokes.
is my more realistic possibility of things that
No!
could be, you know, that he could be there.
Yeah.
And I'd be thrilled with either one of those guys. Devontae Smith being there. To be honest, though, like we said, taking one of the big defensive back guys,
No!
and then being able to get a solid wide receiver in the second round, you know, I'd be okay with that. It's not ideal, but it's.
They got lucky on that play.
I feel like that's very solid.
Quarterback just missed it.
A buddy of ours, Dustin, on Twitter today was just like, there's a lot of rumors that the Eagles are going to take a quarterback in the first round, and I thought for sure he's going to drop it, man.
Like they have so many times.
Then I was decisive and told you to go for it on 4th and 3. But if they take a quarterback, it would be hard to stay like positive about
I
it.
cannot see that happening. Like that would just be. I feel like that would just be Howie's middle finger. I can do what I want. Like essentially what it is. I can do what I want.
Which
And I
isn't, that's not wrong. He has already proven he can just do whatever he wants.
That would just be. So for Miami, obviously it's Chase is my number one guy. I don't want to see them entertaining or sniffing around quarterbacks, just like you said. Chase is my number one. I gotta go with Pitts at 2, even though I'm not as sold on him as some are.
Yeah, I'm telling you though, man, lining him up with Gesicki, whew.
They still have need at receiver though, because like I like Parker, but he can't stay healthy.
No, that's fair.
And same thing with Preston Williams. Now they'll have Albert Wilson coming back, but again, like none of these guys really instilled too much fear. I mean, sometimes when Devontae Parker's on, he's on, but the problem is he's only on like every 10 games. So that's why I want Chase. But if they could find someone else, I mean, I don't think they're going to double dip. I don't think they're going to go Pitts at 6 if he's available, and then at 18 go with Bateman or one of the Moores or Rondale or Elijah.
I'm just letting them take this into like.
That's fine.
We don't need to try and get
Why
greedy
push
here.
it? We get the ball too, don't we?
Yeah, I was a little surprised, but
So that's where I'm at for Miami. And at 18, you know, we talked about I wouldn't be super excited with the tackle, but if someone drops, maybe. We get the ball too, don't we? Again, you had in the one you had. They went with Barmore, and like as amazing as it would be to have Raekwon Davis, Barmore, and Wilkins, if they go in with an odd front, I just feel like the defense wasn't the problem last year for the most part, other than maybe the Buffalo game, you know, that notwithstanding. But no one was on for that Buffalo game. That was just abysmal all around. I just feel like they need too much help on offense to go with the defensive lineman. But I mean, I'd be ecstatic if Parsons was there and they took him.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Zavin Collins fan, but I kind of wish he would be available with their first pick in round 2. I really would like to see them go with. I want Najee Harris at 18.
yeah. Yeah, that would be a commitment. You know, it would be a commitment to offense and helping your quarterback. Like
Right, you get Chase or Pitts and then Harris.
The thing is, the way I feel about the Dolphins is like I'm not sold that they need to move on from Tua. And I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous. You know what I mean? But I feel like you understand exactly what I'm saying because there's some people who do feel like all they need.
No, there are people all the time. Every article
they need to be like they need an insurance policy in case like Tua's not the guy. Like
every article posted on like Pro Football Talk and like the Dolphins blogs and stuff. And this, I feel like this is mostly coming from people outside the Dolphins fan base. Like I don't see many Dolphins fans being like, we have to move on. He started 9 games.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to judge someone that started 9 games? Also, was coming off an egregious and terrible hip injury.
His femur broke out the back of his pelvis. Think about that.
Had no off-season program. There was no contact whatsoever.
Right. Oh, and it was COVID, so like you didn't even have a regular in-season time.
That's what I mean. There was nothing going on.
Right. Everything was weird last year. Yeah, no, that's why I would like to see a commitment to him. You know what I mean? Like,
give him help.
Right, exactly. Like, if you want to find out if he's your guy, give him guys that'll let you figure that out. You know, if you draft a wide receiver, let's say they go receiver
if you give him Pitts and an offensive lineman or Pitts and a running back at like Harris.
Right, and the offense is still struggling. Not at the beginning, but like, you know, you're not finding your way about halfway through the season. All right, now it's time to start thinking, what are we going to do? You know, are we going to stick with this? Like, what do we need to see out of him in order to stick with him? Like, then it becomes a fair question.
It's just it's way too early.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like, he doesn't even have a full season under his belt.
No, absolutely. I am.
You know what didn't help any of this is the Patrick Mahomes effect.
No, absolutely. So here you go, though. This leading into this conversation perfectly.
You know, the guy who sat for a year before
is this idea, and they were talking about this. Somebody said, and they're like, look, they know it's way too nuanced to absolutely say, oh, it's this one issue. But they said, for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to say this is what ruined like quarterbacks coming into the league is the structured salaries for the guys coming in, for those rookies. And he's like, now let me explain. He's like, because when Sam Bradford gets a $60 million signing bonus, he's like, the Rams are going to give him every single last opportunity at that job.
Right.
Whereas now, the Jets are trading, you know, to get Sam Darnold, and then 3 years in, they're like, yeah, no, we're good. Sam Darnold's younger than Joe Burrow. Every single last, and I bet Lamar Jackson is too, actually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you see that with Lamar Jackson all the time. Lamar Jackson just turned 23 this season, I think.
And he's already
won
3
MVP.
years in, yeah.
So it's just one of the. So by the way, every time I'm watching the game and you're getting out, almost had to tackle. Because I'm just thinking from the defensive mindset. But it's good that we don't have it.
I'm just running clock, by the way.
That's perfect. Listen, we are not fancy. But like,
bounced
it
off.
was an interesting thought. Like, don't get me wrong. In the grand scheme of things, I like that you don't have to commit what would probably be like $90 million signing bonuses to like rookie quarterbacks and stuff now. But there is something to say about that. How like
Yeah, I hadn't really thought
it
about
forced teams to like make that commitment
Right.
early. And some people are like, yeah, that's the problem. It forced them to make commitments to guys who, and I get that, but like, it's almost like there's more of a penalty if you messed it up. You know what I mean? Like, or let's rephrase it. Same situation, but there was more incentive to develop your own guy. You know, like, again, going to Sam Bradford just because he was one of the last, he might have been the last, I get that. There was, in theory, more incentive to be like, all right, well, we need to give Sam Bradford everything he needs to be successful. And Jeff Fisher, the king of 500, wasn't it.
Yeah.
But, you know what, like, I'm like, oh, it was an interesting point where you didn't have teams necessarily giving up on guys early on. Because now the thought is, oh, we don't want to spend any money on our quarterback. We want to draft a guy who we can control for 5 years, and really 6 if you look at the idea of, or 7 even with the franchise. Although you don't want to be in that spot, but you know, like you control him for 5 years, and so like you're like, oh well, we're gonna. It's really 6 if you look at kind of try and spend minimally on the quarterback, and I don't know. It was. I hadn't really heard it from that viewpoint
I had
before,
never
and I'm
thought
like,
about
it's
that.
interesting.
It is certainly interesting.
Oh gosh.
The Owls have a defense that's a sight to behold.
I don't know. It was just
play with a chip on their shoulder.
I had never thought
The
it.
defensive line did their job. The linebackers, the safeties, the corners, everybody plays as one, and they've been fun to watch today.
They're ready to begin another drive.
Oh man, you almost had
The
that.
defensive coordinator did a great job with the play call there. He put his defense in alignment and a position to be able to make a play on the football.
So
Everything
close.
worked perfectly. They just dropped the football. Boy, the offense caught a break there.
5 wide. So it's 2nd and 10. Ball on the 32. Got it and brought down immediately.
So close.
Up 2 possessions, tackled inbound, short of the first down. See if we can make a play here.
In the
Do it.
shotgun and 5 wide out.
Do it. Get it.
Now he's scrambling, heading for the corner.
That's
Oh.
they've run through that guy.
It's alright. Just waste time. Waste
Yeah.
time. No hurry up. Run
It's
that
just
clock.
frustrating because like
They come out
we had the guy in the spot and they just didn't make the play.
Oh.
They've run through that.
He fires this one. Goes complete. He's got room to work.
Or you just don't have anybody in the frame.
Yeah. I got burned. I get burned every so often on a deep pass where I'm just like, where's my safety? The safety literally has that part of the field. Where is he? He couldn't be that slow. He sees the receiver going. That's why, like, I like zone, but then sometimes I'm like, I hate zone. Where's my safety? The safety literally has that part of the field. Where is he? He couldn't be that. I feel like I almost always have to play zone because my guys aren't good enough to play
Oh
man.
yeah, no, I
Sometimes I'm like,
100%.
An open touchdown.
That was our star player who couldn't keep up with the wide receiver.
Excellent. That's what you want to see. I feel like they don't know they're kicking.
Yeah, no, I know.
He makes the PAT.
Well, that was our star player. I'm really worried that Howie's going to really screw this up.
So
They get ready
they're
to
kicking it
kick the
deep.
ball, and the return team's looking for the onside.
Okay.
And he got all of this one. Great kick. The Owls are on a
Would you
roll.
kick? I mean, 3 minutes to go, 3 timeouts. I guess so.
And the defense has no answer for it.
So they need to stop me.
This is a
So-
I'm okay if we don't.
All right. So we're pretty much guaranteed at a minimum 3 first-round quarterbacks. Do you,
Oh, yeah.
or sorry, 3 top 10 quarterbacks.
Okay.
Do you? So over under 3.5. Are you taking the over?
I'm taking the over.
Do you think you're going to see whoever doesn't go at 3 will stay in the top 10?
I think somebody trades in and gets at least a fourth one.
So over under
And I think 5 go in the first
3.5.
round.
Are you taking the over? You think you're going to see? You just want me to run this, right? Since they're not taking their timeouts.
I would, try. I mean, I was gonna say try and get the first down. Like we're not trying to get.
No, I mean I'm trying to get the
Try
first
your
down.
best.
I'll try my
But yeah,
best.
I would run that clock down every time if they're not taking timeouts. I think they might take one after this.
Ugh! Hold your blocks! Alright.
I mean, it took them almost no time to score, so I'd just be aggressive. Like I'm not worried about their timeouts here.
It's third down and 7 to go. Ball on the 28.
Hold your blocks! Alright.
Yes.
With room to run. And down he goes.
He caught it.
43-yard line. The defense calls a timeout.
That was huge. That was huge.
Did they? Yeah, they did take a timeout.
Yeah. So they're down to 1.
So, all right. Well, if it's you and you're
Okay.
picking for each team, I assume Lawrence 1, Wilson 2. Is that where your headspace is at?
Yeah. So here's the thing. I know. I don't know if this is just me being contrarian.
So, all right. Well,
Like,
if it's you, you're not
know-
convinced Zach Wilson is the second
Well,
best.
no, I'm not.
Lawrence
And
1, Wilson
I'm
2.
not
Is
convinced
that
that
where
Trevor Lawrence is that much better
headspace
than
is at?
some of the other guys.
See,
You know,
yeah.
like-
See, this is the thing. Like, I feel like every year someone says, "Oh, this is the greatest quarterback in a generation." Like, you can't say that every year. Like, it doesn't work that way.
Each draft class is not a separate generation.
Right. I like this is the
Like,
best
it-
since
it
Andrew
could
Luck.
be.
This is the best since
It
Andrew
could be.
Luck.
But,
Someone
like,
says,
I don't.
"Oh, this is the greatest quarterback in a generation."
And you know,
you can't
I
say that
have
every
to
year.
be clear. What it
Like, it
might
doesn't work
be
that way.
is that I've watched him get outplayed the last 2 years in the playoffs, in the college football playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, Justin Fields outplayed him with whatever injury it was, and I don't know that we
Broken
ever
ribs, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. Like, Justin Fields outplayed him, and it's not like there's a talent gap there. Like, I'd say the talent at Ohio State and Clemson is pretty level. You know, if anything, an edge to Clemson.
I think the defense got a little
Like,
lucky
I just,
there. They didn't seem to be in the right position.
you know what I mean? Like, and the year before that, when they got smoked, well, I don't know if they got smoked, I can't remember, but they lost in the final, and Tua did it.
Yeah.
Like, I know his freshman year it was him. He did it. You know what I mean? So, like, there is that.
Change the field position in this football game.
But I don't know. And that's not to say that, here's the thing. I think he very well could be the number 1 pick. But the talk of, like, the generational talent, like, that's what I'm just like, I don't know how you get that from this stuff. Like,
Really nice punt.
some people are like, oh, the fact that he's lost, like, 3 games since his freshman year in high school or something crazy like that. I'm like,
But we've seen those crazy stats before.
Right, exactly.
That's why, I know if Adam was listening, this would be blasphemy, I assume.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I'm not sold. Here's the thing, like, it's tough for me to make that argument because I'm not making the argument that, like, oh, Zach Wilson is better. You know, like, that's not what I'm trying to do here. Like, I still think Trevor Lawrence may be the best. We have this conversation all the time about overrated. That's kind of how I'd put him. Not because he's not good, but I'm not just like, I don't know that he's as good as everyone is making him out to be. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I understand.
I still think Trevor Lawrence may be the best. We have this conversation all right, is Parsons the only Penn Stater to go in the first round? Does basically, I can
I'm
rephrase
gonna
that question
say-
as, does Jason Oweh sneak in
I'm
the
going to
first
say
round?
no. I think Oweh makes it in the last 4 picks for one of the playoff teams that want a take a flyer at a developmental edge rusher. I think we could see him go somewhere late first.
He'd be fascinating in Kansas City or.
Well, Kansas City's out now.
Oh yeah, you're right. What if he went to Tampa? That would suck, wouldn't it?
Game over.
Game over. Hey, so we
Hallelujah.
stayed alive. Stayed alive.
Yeah, we were able to get something, so that's good. We salvaged that. We didn't look good against Southern Miss. I don't know. We can't maintain momentum, but
which could be a problem going into a must-win.
Yeah, going where right. We have to win this. Now, I keep forgetting that this is a regular season game. I keep thinking this is a conference championship, which it's not. But we will play Florida International. We'll see what happens. Man, could it be crazy if they're ranked? I guess advance next week we'll find out. But we'll wrap up the show here. Thanks to everyone that tuned in and watched us poop the bed the first game, but rebound. We're still on a quest to get to 500. We're sitting at 5-6. Could be our last game on Thursday when we have episode 334, which is our live coverage of the 2021 NFL Draft. However, Justin and I will be playing this game to try to finish out the season. So if we beat Florida International in our 12th game, we will then play a bowl game, I would think. I hope we would make a bowl game.
Yeah, I would hope.
Although
we
maybe
get
not.
there and we don't
Could be
get
moot.
one.
But we'll be here for well over an hour since we're covering the first round of the draft. So we will be back this Thursday, April 29th for episode 334. We will then be off for 2 Sundays in a row. We won't do anything a week from now after doing the draft on Thursday. And then 2 weeks from now is Mother's Day, so we will not be on the air that night either. But when we're back on our normal Sunday night for episode 335 in 3 Sundays, which would be May 16th, we will be starting season 2 of our Dynasty, probably at Florida Atlantic. Justin and I don't like to jump from a school after 1 year. We like to get some. We'd like to build it up a little bit before we leave.
Yeah, and I'm not sure we're going to get the offers that we would.
Yeah, I'm not
be
sure.
jumping
If we
at.
end up 5-7, I'm not sure too many big-time schools are really going to
got a
be
couple
knocking
other
down our
commits
door.
here.
A couple more recruits. I see our coordinators have jumped up a level, so we're slowly improving. But we will be starting Dynasty Year 2 in 3 weeks, and also starting our NFL division previews as we get ready for the 2021.
They are ranked.
NFL
FIU is
season.
number 24.
FIU is 10-1 and number 24. So we are playing our first ranked team in a while because even Auburn wasn't ranked when we played them.
Right.
First time since when we played Miami or Florida in the beginning.
Right.
Hey, we play better against better competition.
That's true.
We haven't beaten any of the better teams, but we played pretty well against better teams. So we'll see if we can knock off FIU at 24, who's looking to make I would think, a pretty decent bowl game if they're sitting at 11-1. But
Yeah, maybe we can spoil that for you.
yeah, let's spoil those the FIU season. That's definitely what I anticipate to say. FIU 24th ranked 10-1. But yeah, it'll be fun. Any shout-outs, anything to mention from you, Justin?
Not off the top of my head. I'm sure there's something I'm missing. Oh, well, this was earlier in the week, but my son's birthday was this week, so.
Yes, happy belated to Austin, celebrating earlier this week. Happy birthday today to one of our more avid and recent listeners, Jamie Sands, celebrating. He was watching earlier. He comments frequently about
I'm gonna hear about the loss tomorrow,
about our coaching decisions in the NCAA program. But we appreciate him tuning in. Happy birthday to him. Happy early anniversary to my in-laws celebrating this week. And I'll be on the air again before my parents celebrate. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else we needed to say. But we'll be back in just a few days, Thursday night, first round of the 2021 NFL Draft.
I'm so ready for the draft to be here and just be
I know.
done with the draft talk.
As much as I
not
love-
us, not us, but like it's all
Like all the other,
Yeah.
as much as I love mock draft season and talking about it, when we get this close, I'm just ready. Like, I just want to know what's happening. No more guessing. No more subterfuge. Like, just let's get there and get it done. That's where we're at. So,
All right.
I think that's it. We'll see everyone again on Thursday evening for the first round of the NFL draft and our conclusion of year one as coaches of the Florida Atlantic Owls. For Justin Raffauf, I'm Joe Mays. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Joe Mays and J-Raff Show. We'll see everyone again on Thursday evening for the first round of the NFL draft and our conclusion.
That's a wrap on this episode of the Joe Mays and J-Raff Show, brought to you by Mays Sandwich Shop. Woo-hoo! You can watch each weekly episode live on Facebook, Periscope, or YouTube. Be sure to like, follow, or subscribe to the show on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play. You can also rate and review us on many of these platforms as well. We'd love to hear from you. Send your emails to the Mays Sandwich Shop inbox at joemaysandjraff@gmail.com. The Joe Mays and J-Raff Show is a part of the JMNJR Radio Network, home to other productions such as the Bulldog Hour, Tangents with Friends, and Nat Chats with Dad. Until next time.